So how much better can batteries get? That's what we're talking about, considering they're already pretty good. So for those of you who don't know me, let's see, this gentleman knows me, that gentleman knows me. I have a YouTube channel called My Tesla Weekend. I'm a tech analyst who happens to be on YouTube. You may have seen me on shows like Best in Tesla or Brighter with Herbert or Oracle Investments or Out of Spec with Kyle Connor or Tesla Fix, Randy Kirk, a lot of them. So I do a lot of stuff. I go to a lot of events. I've been to Fully Charged in 3 different countries. So the big thing is that I know people and I have sources that'll sometimes share things with me. But I've always got experts I can ask questions to. So, what batteries were? I don't imagine there's too many people in here who don't know what batteries were. But what they were was dirty. So this is a 1912 Detroit Electric. If you want to see one of those, there's a 1914 parked out front. And these were great cars that were just a little bit ahead of their time. And by that I mean they cost 4 times too much because battery chemistry wasn't there yet. So then we get to something more like the EV1, which they just put car batteries in, just lead acid car batteries. Those are supposed to be able to cycle 500 to 1,000 times. They don't. I don't know where that number comes from. That's ridiculous. So this was discontinued in 2002. By 2003, they were all gone. And why? Because there was no battery in the whole world that you could possibly make an electric car out of. You know, laptop batteries hadn't come along yet. Oh yeah, they had. Laptop batteries were already lithium ion and they were already awfully good. But there was a problem with them, which was that when you tried to put them in a car, you needed to put in thousands and thousands of them. So it was like 6,381 lithium ion batteries that you needed, which even if you're getting them for 10 bucks a piece, that's 60 grand. And it wasn't 10 bucks, it was more than that, even at volume. So you'd have had to have been crazy to try and push forward with this good battery that, you know, that worked. So modern battery longevity, who's making good batteries these days? LG, Panasonic, Cato, Samsung, everybody. SK is making good batteries. Chevy had some problems with their LG batteries. They got it sorted out.
Who's SK?
SK makes the batteries that Ford uses. Okay. So it's another...
Is it letter S, letter K? I'm not...
Yep, SK Innovations out of Korea. They are one of the bigger players in the world. And the beauty, a lot of people say, well, we don't want to be too, you know, Toyota doesn't want to move forward with EVs because that would give them too much reliance on China. Okay, well, China, Japan, Korea. You've got options. And all of them are good options. EV battery warranties. So to answer the question of who's making good EV batteries, by law, everybody. Automakers are required to have an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty. At the end of that time, if you don't have 70% capacity, you get a new battery. That's a win-win, because if your battery fails, you get a newer, nicer one. And if your battery doesn't fail, your battery didn't fail.
And this is guaranteed by your manufacturer.
Manufacturer warranty. Correct.
They'll go to them.
Right. So you'll go to Ford and they'll replace it, or you'll go to Tesla and they'll replace it. But if it was SK or Samsung, in the case of the LG batteries that failed with GM, they agreed to split the cost of the replacements. And I never did hear what happened with that. I don't know if they actually replaced them or took the cars back or what.
Where's the best place to test a battery with your...
Apart from an onboard diagnostic system, because on your screen it should tell you, but really you can know by how much range you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean really just measuring your own range in a real world environment would tell you. Yeah. So then you've got how good are the batteries actually? So this is a chart of S and X owners, real ones with real data really pulled from real world driving over time. And unfortunately it's cut off, but all the way over here is 250,000 kilometers, which is, what would that be, 150,000 miles. That's pretty good. And you think, well, that's pretty bad. No, it isn't. This is what it actually looks like. If you start the chart at 0, that's really good. It's quite a difference. So,
Very different from their original Nissan Leaf, which had huge precipitous degradation.
very sharp fall off. This law was not in place yet. Now, in the newer Leafs, they will still give you the better curve. A lot of the Nissans were air cooled. They didn't have good management. And that was the problem with a lot of the batteries, is you didn't have smart battery management. And that's most of what's going to save your battery, prolong its life. And on top of that is the thermal management, which is going to help prolong and save its life.
So I noticed none of them were below 70%.
One of them got down to 75 on this chart. Now there are ones that fail, because this is not all cars, this is just cars that were in this particular data set, but it appears to be a reasonably large data set.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we get to lithium iron phosphate, which is the new exciting one. And it's not exciting, it's very boring, but that's what I want in a battery, is not something that's, I want boring. It's a little bit heavier, it's not as fast, but it doesn't wear out. And it doesn't have any conflict materials. If we look at some of the benefits, it doesn't catch fire the way traditional lithium ion batteries do. It's cheaper to make, it doesn't have any cobalt or nickel, and it lasts a long time, making it environmentally sustainable in ways, I mean, they all are, but this one is especially so. So, and what's it made out of? You know, lithium, iron, phosphate, a little bit of copper, a little bit of metal for the can. The headline that you can't read says 4 million mile battery is now a reality, because LFP can cycle like crazy. It doesn't mind. It doesn't wear out the way traditional battery chemistry does. So you get a whole lot of life out of it. And this isn't like lab unproven miracle breakthrough. This is stuff that already exists. This is Jeff Don from Canada, and he's been funded by Tesla for years. His research group is the one making all the chemistry that goes into all the new subtle improvements at Tesla. 4 million miles, that means your battery is going to last longer than your car. So what's next? Slightly better chemistry. There's always a little bit, or a little more silicone on the anode, a little bit this or that. And what you get is improving costs and slightly better performance. And that shouldn't surprise anybody. Batteries get a little bit better each year. And then you've got, what else is next? Slightly cheaper manufacturing. I mean, that makes sense. If you're going to put 6,000 of something in a car, and you're going to make 1 million cars, that's 6 billion batteries. You're going to get pretty good at it. Volume weighted average of lithium ion battery price from all sectors in the US, that's what you'd expect when you start making billions of something. And what you're going to expect also is whole new chemistries. That's going to make more possibilities. Sodium ion batteries are coming. We don't know how good they are yet. They're in test vehicles in China right now. They have even less power per kilogram. So these may end up just going into stationary storage, while the lithium iron phosphate goes into more automotive and moves up the chain that way. What else is coming? Other chemistries like 3P. Just another way of rounding out what you can make a battery out of. Because if you can make a battery out of 1,000 different things, you're going to have one part of the supply chain can collapse without it becoming a problem.
So what are the materials in
I want to say silicone is one of them. That's magnesium iron phosphate. So what's not coming? Whenever you see a miracle breakthrough, oh, it's a miracle, it's 1,000 miles, it's 900 miles. That's not how it works. If, when your new computer comes out, it's better than your old computer. But if somebody said it's 3 times better, you'd you'd ask some questions. So that's busted. What's not coming? Did I hear someone whisper solid state? It's 2 years away, you guys. It's 2 years. Toyota's been telling us that for 11 years. They're always saying solid state, 1,000 miles of range, you can charge it in 10 minutes, and it'll be here in 2 years. Please just buy one more Toyota. And that's not a great way to do business. Meanwhile, they're pushing hydrogen and all kinds of other things that don't make sense. Busted. So let's talk about the big dumb myths. Surely you know there's some big dumb myths. Batteries die in 10 years. Have you heard that one? It's so, and you say, they go, well, if every 5 to 10 years I have to spend $20,000 on a battery, this isn't going to work. You say, why on earth would you think that? That doesn't make, well, a lot of the gas car companies spent a lot of money convincing people that that was true. And now they're realizing that they can't sell cars because we convince people they're not good. They don't die in 10 years. If it dies the warranty's only for 10 years and 0 days. What if it dies in 10 years and 1 day? That's not how it works either, because if that was the case, half of them would fail before 10 years and half would fail just after. It'd be a problem. The other myth is that they can't be recycled. A lot of people believe that. We're gonna be jammed the landfills full of lithium ion batteries. Lithium iron, all of them. And you're not, because they can be recycled. You just haven't seen much of it yet because they don't die. The cars are staying on the road a lot longer than people thought they would. The cars are, when the cars are taken off the road, those batteries often get a second life in off-grid storage at cabins and installations like that. In Japan, they're using old leaf batteries as backup power in case of tsunamis, because these are big, still good batteries. Another myth, there's not enough lithium. There is. Lithium's plentiful, it's everywhere. There's not as much cheap lithium as we'd like, but there's plenty of lithium. Yeah, if you like the presentation, if you found some value in it, you're welcome to follow me on YouTube, where I have daily videos, often more than daily, regular live streams, interviews with all kinds of folks, CEOs even. I've got an interview just today with the CEO of Aptera. It's my 3rd time interviewing him. I'm very excited. And regular events like these. I go all over the place. I meet a lot of interesting folks, all of whom can make me a little smarter. So that's your other homework, is you got to make me a little smarter before I leave. Otherwise, what am I doing? So, ask me anything. What would you like to know? What questions might you have? Sir, in the back.
So on that iron,
Yes.
if they never wear out, kind of changes this whole recycling thing. And really, at some point, do you ever need to make any more if they should be just going back into new vehicles?
Right.
Right. So it kind of changes that. But I've loved this recycling thing. That's what I tell people. You know, at 70%, this is still a great home emergency thing in my house. You know, I don't not even a cat. I just want it for when the power's out.
Sure.
But what's your thought on? Because I love that thought of the battery never wearing out. But how does that change?
Well, so if they wear out, like most things wear out, and you could get to just about a closed loop where you're recycling enough of the material that you don't need to mine as much new material. But if they don't fail and they're staying out there, they'd still end up at recyclers because there'd be too many, because the cars will still wear out. And I can't see them taking a 20-year-old battery and putting it in a brand new car.
But if it's got 4 million miles worth of range, why wouldn't you, as a manufacturer, an automotive manufacturer, say, I'll take the battery back when the car's gone, it goes right back into my supply chain, and maybe you get a 10% discount on your bill. It just seems silly from a sustainability standpoint.
Sure.
Why do you? What are there aren't enough uses, I don't think, than people who want cars and trucks and semis and whatever else.
And maybe not even putting the same pack in as is, but refurbishing it. Yeah, factory recertified.
Seems it's going to take a new. That's
Yeah.
Very interesting. 4 million miles. That shocks me.
Yeah, because the 1 million was the number that they'd said for a long time, and the 1 million and the 4 million are the same battery. They just didn't have time to test it to 4. They literally got to 1 million and announced it, and then a year later they're like, okay, we've cycled it further. Yeah. Any other? Yes, sir.
Going through these different configurations of batteries, the lithium phosphate, you were saying, I mean, they greater range at a cost of a little bit more weight. Is that negligible weight, or is that going to be game-changing curb weight?
So these LFP batteries are already in electric cars. Most EVs made worldwide already use them, just not in America. In America, we've only got, because LFP was under some weird patent that they weren't supposed to use them in China either, but the compromise they reached was, if you don't export them, we won't fight you. And so they were able to use them in China, improve them, and get them up to speed. So most Chinese EVs already use them. Tesla's standard range Model S, Model 3 and Y, both use them. So these are, I'm going to say 20% heavier per mile. The trade-off is, so when you get a standard range, you lose, so instead of having 330 miles, you might have 300 miles of range. Except these you can charge to 100. You can charge them to 100, you can charge them down, you can drain them to 0, and the battery don't care. As opposed to lithium ion, which they really say, try and keep it between 20 and 80 for the longevity. You'll wear it out faster if you don't have to, but you'd be happier. So they're not that much heavier. And the LFP batteries are the ones they're using in stationary storage. So like the mega packs at the power plant, the power walls in your homes, where space and weight are not as critical of an issue because you're not moving them.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're speaking to the disinformation campaigns, which are, I think, very intentional. And I mean, freaking Mr. Bean, the stupid British comic, all of a sudden is like, and did you read
I did read that.
He's like
I did have.
engineer to, like discrediting the whole EV industry, and it's like, stay in your lane and be stupid, dude.
Well, he's very good when he doesn't speak.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He writes like an op-ed. It's carried everywhere, and it's like, like to your point, like about like it's just a landfill. It can't be recycled. It's like, like this idea, you're going to have blood on your hands from like mining materials. I mean, I'm picking on him, but I mean, you probably saw this with Trump speaking to the non-union.
But he's echoing a sentiment that we've seen from a lot of. It starts with the lobbyists. It starts with the groups that have a funded interest in saying the wrong thing on purpose. And whether he was paid for it or did their work for free, I don't know which one's worse. Yeah, so.
Doing it for free.
Doing it for free. I've seen people say some genuinely crazy things for money, but for free? Yeah. Oh, man. Got the short end of that stick. Any other questions?
Do you have a rough feeling, back to the weight of the battery? So on that Tesla, I'm trying to think what percent, so 20% of the battery weight of the car, how much would it be without or with lithium ion versus the lithium?
Well, you can ask any of the Tesla guys here what the curb weight is on the standard. Yeah, but it's, what you're going to get is the standard range version is going to be about as heavy as the long range version, but with less miles. Is that right? Yeah. So it's.
I was wondering if it was 500 pounds on the,
It's not. It's really not bad. It's probably 10% more. It's probably not even. It's 10% more weight on the pack, I would guess, but not on the car, not on the curb weight. And that's another myth I wanted to. There was this very popular post on X the other day saying, EVs weigh 50% more. Who's going to pay for the roads and the? And I pulled up the curb weight of the Model 3 and the BMW 3 Series, and they're the same. I pulled up the curb weight of the Model Y and the BMW X 5s and 7s. They're the same. They weigh the same. So what I asked in response was, are you being paid to lie to me, or are you really that dumb? And the answer is, I'm pretty sure they're being paid, because being dumb professionally, boy. So, any other questions? We've got 1 minute left for questions. You, young man up front, do you have a question? No, okay. All right, if you have any questions for me, I'll be back later in the day. So yeah, we'll have presentations throughout the day. And thank you guys for coming in.